You know how a couple episodes ago, I complained about these guys teleporting from the start of the race to the halfway point? Well, it's even worse this time. As crazy as it sounds, like 15 minutes at most have passed since Hidate got to the orb thing last episode. And in that time, this group of important people safely traveled to the finish line. Like, why doesn't Hidate just follow them to the finish line? They've gone to both the halfway point and the finish line faster than him. Also, we saw this guy in the tuning exams, by the way. I don't remember if I said that yet.
That matter you asked us to investigate. We've finally uncovered some proof. Oh, I see.
I want you to remember this happening, by the way. I'm gonna bring it up later, and if you've been following this arc, it's in the way you think I will. So last episode, Sakura and Sasuke were this far away from the ledge, and in this episode, it actually stays somewhat consistent. For like one shot, and then Sakura just magically gets closer to the wall so she can cling on to it. Am I going crazy, or is there something like a little wrong with Naruto's face here? He's just slightly off model. It wouldn't be the first time the characters looked weird in this episode, so I don't think it's me. Like, this is Aoi not even 30 seconds later, and this is also Aoi not even 10 seconds after that. Like, the characters are honestly more off model in this episode than on model.
Not a bad trick there, kid, but it's not gonna help you run away.
Whatever, pal! Who said anything about running?
Wait, why don't you do that? I'm not one to complain, right? So that was a fucking lie. But why not use the shadow clones to like make your own bridge so Hidate can get away faster? Why make this harder on yourself when it can be 1,000 times easier? I mentioned it last episode, but this sword is hilariously inconsistent. It like evaporates Naruto's Rasengan on 2 different occasions in this episode, but last episode, it struggled a little bit. And also, later in this episode, it struggles against it again. And you'll never guess what happens. You'll never guess what happens after it struggles with it.
I'll never run away! I haven't forgotten my answer to the 10th question!
Would you hate me if I said I like this? Just the fact that the 10th question became more relevant than just that one moment last episode. I don't even really like the way it's presented. All I like is that it adds more to the moment. Like, it's not just a callback, it's an actual plot point.
What is that?
So I had this whole point ready where I just make fun of Naruto for not knowing what this could be. But now that I'm thinking about it, it's a lot more impressive that Aoi just doesn't notice it. Like, for someone who's supposed to come off as formidable and terrifying, he's just kind of fucking stupid. You may remember last episode, I said I didn't like the fights of this arc because they don't really have any thought put into them. It's just big attack after big attack. Well, this little thing Naruto does at least tries to do something different. He uses 2 clones as a diversion, and then another clone as another diversion, just so he can get close to Aoi and hit the crack in the blade. The problem, though, is that, well, look where Naruto is when Aoi becomes aware of the attack. Pretty fucking high in the air. So even though this attack comes off as different, all it really does is fluff it out to make it seem more than it actually is. Cause in reality, it's still just a big attack that Aoi is aware of well before it hits him. Small detail, but you can actually see the sword have an initial crack as Naruto hits it with Rasengan. You saw that, right? Rasengan, this super powerful technique. And this is all it did to him. He just spun around in the air. You know what it feels like? Theater. And don't get me wrong, plays are super cool. Like, when they do choreography like this, it's sick. But they do that because they can't do things like this. But this is animation. You can make this look as crazy as you want. But you decided this is how it should look? Like, what are we doing?
If we cut the rope, we'll be on the other side in about 2 seconds.
Isn't it kind of weird that Hidate's mindset and overall demeanor towards Naruto just changes? Like, he's all smiles and everything, acting like he didn't hate him 15 minutes ago.
You know, I've never really thought that highly of myself.
Good for you, man. Cut the rope. You were supposed to be over there 2 seconds ago.
Here, use this.
Huh?
Hey, look, guys. It's the big character moment. He didn't trust anyone with a knife because he doesn't trust anyone. Yeah, I make money off these videos, by the way. But now he realizes he needs to trust people around him the same way they put trust in him. And it took him 15 years to figure this out. At least it makes for a good moment, right? You know, Naruto accepts it and cuts the rope, and he cuts the rope. He's still cutting the rope. Okay.
Come on now, just a little bit more!
This Looney Tunes ass moment. They cut the rope. You know, like that one mobile game from 15 years ago. They then head straight into the wall as expected. Naruto then says, "Oh no, I'm almost out of chakra." Then proceeds to, not even 10 seconds later, push past that and get him and Hidate up this big ass wall. And maybe I'm being a little critical, but what's the point in acting like there's a chance this couldn't work if not even 3 seconds later you're gonna have him overcome this totally real obstacle? For how much shit I give Hidate, one thing that stayed impressive for him as a character is actually how fast he is. This other guy went across the bridge probably like 10 minutes ago, maybe 15, and within a minute or two, a fatigued and injured Hidate caught back up to him.
He's right on top of me!
Oh my god, guys! He won! Honestly, right? If you watched the first episode of this arc, you wouldn't have been able to tell he was gonna win. You would have had no idea. This arc really keeps you guessing, doesn't it?
The winner! Hidate Morino! Representing the Wasabi family!
Seriously, why is Sasuke here? They have this poor guy holding him up too.
It seems this kid rode on the back of a hired ninja for part of the way. That's a violation.
The boy must be disqualified.
Oh no! No way!
There is no such rule. Stop talking nonsense.
Oh, okay.
Perhaps the reason you want to win so badly is that it would mean an end to all the bribes you've been accepting. Look here.
We actually see this guy get this evidence at the start of this episode, by the way. Meaning that even if Hidate lost this race, he probably would have ended up being the winner. Meaning that this race was pointless and nothing that actually happened needed to. So, good job.
From this day forth, the Wagarashi family is no more. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. So everything is good now. Jirocho will always be the boss, Hidate's hailed as a hero, and there will be no conflict ever again. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. It's just the best possible ending for our protagonists. If Hidate can be counted as one.
Who are you? Only one person called me that. And he died 3 years ago.
It actually makes sense Ibiki didn't address Hidate. He's technically a rogue ninja, and if he knew his location, then he would have to report it. And since he's the reason 2 Anbu members died, it's not like the Leaf would just let Hidate go, regardless of how little ties to being a shinobi he has.
See you again someday!
Yeah, we'll see you. You take care.
You got it. You guys come back anytime.
Well, I'm sure they will. They'll definitely come back.
I wasn't able to beat him. But Naruto was.
It's so weird to me that Sasuke gets mad like this out of nowhere. Like, this whole thing was such a nothing conflict, and he takes it so personally. And they use this as a reason he leaves, by the way. Yikes. Yeah, so that's how we're ending this arc, by the way. Here's what the rest of this video is going to be. I'm going to talk about the episode, then the arc as a whole, and then I have some closing thoughts about filler and just some other stuff. Anyways, the episode. It's kinda ass. Let's just be honest. In my opinion, the fight is really dead. Naruto either feels super weak or super underwhelming, and it makes Aoi seem like a little bit of a clown. Them getting past the bridge borders on like cartoon logic in the worst way possible. It's not in like an Atsushi Wakabayashi way, it's more in like a he just needs to be over here kind of way. The actual finale part of the race itself is okay, I guess. It does look a little funny, but they at least try. Unfortunately, it's the shining light of the episode. And that sucks too, because it just turns out it doesn't matter. Jirocho is probably going to take over anyways because of these two. I think seeing Ibiki is fine, and them leaving is alright, but the episode at that point was just beyond saving. I wouldn't say it's the worst episode in this arc, but it was there. It's there. And now, the arc. Let's be honest with ourselves, right? This thing is 5 episodes long. It has the same runtime as a shorter movie. And in the nicest way possible, I think everyone would say they'd rather watch something else. Like, the Land of Snow movie is less time than this, and not to spoil my thoughts on it or anything, but it is better. However, I do say all that in the nicest way possible, because I had a feeling while overanalyzing this arc that there was a chance they were on the craziest time crunch ever. In fact, I'm confident they were most likely given only a month to write this entire thing, in comparison to Land of Snow's probably 6 to 18 months. And anyone who's ever written a story that's theirs can probably back me up here, but that's really hard to do well. In fact, it's impossible. Like, think for a second how hard it'd be to write an hour and 45 minutes of story within a month. And if, as I said that, you thought to yourself, oh, that seems easy, then do it. It's not going to be good, I can guarantee you that. That's why even though I was making fun of the writers of this arc, I don't think they really should be to blame. They were probably dealt a terrible hand and just had to work with it. I don't think that means it can't be criticized, but I do think it means there should be an asterisk placed on said criticism. So, with all that being said, here's everything I don't like about the arc. And as I say these, by the way, there will be asterisks on stuff I blame the theorized time crunch for. So yeah, here we go. The writing's overly direct. Asterisk on this one. The characters don't feel like themselves. For example, Sasuke is just straight up terrible, Sakura gets Land Waves treatment, and Naruto is either a superhero or super useless. And when he's one or the other, it makes him super boring. We actually won't be putting an asterisk on this one for reasons I'll mention in the next part of this video. Idate is annoying, and damn near borders on being like an oaf. We'll put an asterisk on this. Aoi is a nothing character. Asterisk on this one too. The race itself sucks. No asterisk this time, I think that was just bound to happen. The pacing sucks. Asterisk. And they unintentionally mess with canon parts of the show. Another asterisk. As you can see, most of my critiques aren't necessarily the writer's fault, more the time crunch I feel like they were given. And now here's everything I like about this arc. It's gonna go a lot faster. We see the Rain Ninja, that's cool. Naruto loses his ninja tools. Somehow I'm still talking about it. And I like the idea of the alternate 10th question. That is it. If you eliminate the critiques that have an asterisk, there's actually more praise than genuine critique. Meaning that if they had more time, they maybe could have done something here. But they didn't have that for whatever reason, which is honestly disappointing, because it seems like they didn't give a shit about the thing they were making. It was purely filler. They just wanted to waste everyone's time, and honestly, when you watch it, you can kind of tell. I understand there's people that love this arc, but as I keep watching, I saw why less and less. And I remember this arc being good too when I first watched Naruto. That was forever ago, so thankfully I grew up. I genuinely think the only way you find this arc enjoyable is if you aren't sober. And yeah, here's my character tier list for this arc. That's it. Let's now talk about filler as a whole. I should warn you, this is going to be a little bit ranty. That's a lie, it's just going to be me ranting. And unlike the last two chapters, I won't be nice when saying this. I'm not going to say anything from a place of understanding, because honestly, I don't care. For starters, I want to share a thought I kept on having as I overanalyzed this arc. Pretty much, I don't want to ever hear people talk shit on Kishimoto's writing ever again. Because to put it simply, he is the only person that gets it. Like, if you were following this arc, then you'd see how these people thought these characters were written, and they failed. They objectively failed. And when it comes to this, I don't give a shit about a deadline, because I don't think it matters how much time they had. They would have never known how to make these characters pop the same way he does, because they didn't make them. And this isn't just a this arc problem, it's also a filler problem. And not only is it a filler problem, but it's also a fanfiction problem. And not only is it a fanfiction problem, it's also a rewrite problem. Because no matter how much you follow and analyze these characters, you can never truly grasp who they are the same way as Kishimoto. And that leads to these renditions of these characters being shells of the original. And this is seen time and time again in like filler and rewrites, making both like low-key slop. The thing is though, I do see it on like a little bit of a spectrum. Like you have fanfiction on the very left, and then in the middle you have filler, and then on the very right you have rewrites. And the more you move right, the more disrespectful and ill-intended the story becomes. Like I think people who write a fan story about a series they like kind of know what they're getting themselves into. Maybe not rewrites though. Like, don't get me wrong, I personally think as viewers, it is perfectly fine to critique art and say you think certain moments should have been done differently, or that you don't like specific things. Like, that is perfectly fine. The same way art can be praised by anyone, it can also be critiqued by anyone with the ability to articulate their thoughts into a simple comment. But as fans, not just of Naruto, but like anime, and I guess just like television, can we just come to the consensus that filler and rewrites fucking suck? I'll talk about rewrites first, because I can just tell alarms are going off in people's heads. Pretty much, there's just no defending them. Like, critiques are one thing, right? And being so uncreative and such a control freak that you rewrite someone else's creation, not only disrespecting art as a whole, but also burning everyone's eyes with your dog shit writing, that's another. Like, if these people who do rewrites have aspirations of being writers of their own stories, I'm just gonna say it how it is, they should abandon that dream, because they're not writers. They can't even call themselves creators. Because if they can't understand that what they are doing is so anti-art and against writing as a whole, then they're gonna suck at it anyways. And they've made it clear, they have no intention of learning either, and if they don't want to learn, then they're not gonna improve. They make business projects, not passion projects. They're on par with generative AI, not only creatively, but mentally. Fucking fire extinguisher attached to their pen. I also think these people have just lost the privilege to critique anything because they clearly don't understand what makes something good in the first place. And I'm not talking about Naruto specifically, by the way, this goes for all rewrites. I'm actually talking about that JJK rewrite more than anything. Anyways, I brought this up about rewrites because I have a similar critique about filler. Just the problem of it being anti-art, because filler can be beneficial in small doses. It can be good for world building and expanding side characters, but like I mentioned a few times in this arc, when it gets too close to canon, it messes with it, and in doing so, it makes certain canon moments not make any sense. And if someone didn't know they were watching filler, then they could then see the story as inconsistent as hell. And with Naruto specifically, there's so much filler that people might not even want to watch it. Canon Naruto is, I want to say just off the top of my head, if you combine like OG Naruto and Shippuden together, I want to say it's like 428. That's the estimate. Which is a lot, but it's not as much as 720, which is how much total episodes there are if you add OG and Shippuden together. And that's just insane. Almost 300 filler episodes? That's a fucking disaster. And that's where it gets really bad. And to that same level of disrespect. Like, I understand giving the author time, for canon episodes to be better, but 300 filler episodes? Are we not going a little far? Because you can take some time off. Surely you can take a break, especially with a series as popular as Naruto. That's why I think these filler episodes were only made with money in mind. Which, given how damaging it can be to a show's reputation, that is just as disrespectful as a rewrite. And just so this rant doesn't go on for any longer, that's what I think a lot of filler is, and that's why I don't respect it. So yeah, hopefully what I just said made any sense. It's gonna have to. Hope you enjoyed me going over this arc. I'll tell you right now, filler is not happening again, but hopefully me making fun of it was at least entertaining. If you want to support me more than just watching this video, you can become a member on Patreon. And yeah, like, subscribe, stuff like that. And there's no new episodes, so this video is just gonna end.